bring in Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network analyst and former NFL scout. You sent out a tweet yesterday, and it kind of sums up what it's like at this time of the year with the NFL draft, Daniel. There are so many rumors here, and you're trying to sort through it. You were a former NFL scout. Do you have a go-to guy or go-to guys that you know they're going to give you the as honest of opinion as possible?
Yeah, but it's few and far between, Dan. You're talking about maybe 2 or 3 guys that you've known for 20 years that aren't going to lie to you. And on the other side of that, I'm not going to probe them on what they're going to do and ask for specific names. But they don't lie to me, and you get some good information. And then you get some stuff like I had the other day where within 20 minutes I talked to two different general managers. One said, the Redskins are moving up for Haskins. And I said, okay, that's interesting. And then 20 minutes later, I said, the Redskins are moving up. And I go, yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, they love Jones. And I'm like, well, what?
Your favorite rumor you've heard is what?
Well, the Drew Lock one, that Tennessee could consider Drew Lock. You've got Marcus Mariota coming into the last year of his contract, and it sounded really, kind of far-fetched to me. I think they'll give Mariota a year, a prove-it year, and see what he can do. But I did a radio interview yesterday with the Nashville station, and they said right after that tweet had come out, they were going to interview Drew Lock. And they said, what about the Titans? And it said, it looked like he saw a ghost. And he said, well, I've spent, 2 different meetings with them. They worked me out. They gave me one play to remember on the first meeting, and I came back, and I thought I did a good job. And I love the quarterback coach. And it was like, oh, wait a second. Maybe there is something here.
Wow. If you're the Cardinals GM, what are you doing tonight?
Turning in the card for Nick Bosa or Quinnen Williams. And I wouldn't have a problem with either one of them. I think it's a 1A, 1B thing. I would continue to try and develop Josh Rosen and give him some help. I think he's got tremendous talent. But, look, it's a unique situation with the connection with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, and you've started down that road. So I can understand them going in that direction, but if I was in the chair, I would have stuck with Rosen and got one of those stud defensive linemen.
Why would you pass on Murray?
Oh, well, I have a higher grade on Josh Rosen coming out than I did on Kyler Murray. So there you go. I would continue to try and give him a chance. Nobody had a chance with what he had last year. Nobody. With all the turmoil, there's no chance he was going to be successful. It just is a little premature to punt on him, in my opinion.
Where do you have Kyler Murray on your big board?
Number 11. He's my top quarterback, and the ceiling is very high. I mean, you could hit it big, but obviously it comes with some risk. So I would stack him behind the top 3 guys I had in last year's draft, which were Darnold, Rosen, and Mayfield.
We were talking about this prior to the show, that the best player in the draft is rarely the number 1 player taken, right?
Yeah, correct.
Now we look at position grade, we look at need, because I thought Nelson was the best player in the draft last year.
Yeah, I think I had him at number 2, Dan. I think I had Saquon. And again, this is by grade, not saying what you would, if you have a need at quarterback, you take a good quarterback over a great player if you don't have one. What's unique about the Cardinals is I think they have one. But normally the best player is not the highest graded player does not end up being the first pick because there's such an importance placed on a couple other positions.
But if I said to the Giants, you can redraft from last season, if I make you to the GM and you can redraft, or you can take Saquon Barkley. You got the second pick. Who are you taking?
I would take Sam Darnold. I said it last year, and I say that Saquon Barkley was my number 1 player in that draft. I think Darnold was number 4 or 5, but that's because you had some special players up there. But as a quarterback, I thought Darnold had a chance to be really, really good, and he's 21 years old. He's going to be your guy for the next 15, 16 years. LT is a Hall of Famer. LT is phenomenal, one of the best running backs of all time. He was in the same class as Drew Brees. LT's been working at the NFL Network for a while. Drew Brees is still going.
So what Nelson is. He's an all-pro lineman. You know what Saquon Barkley is. He's an all-pro running back. We don't know what Sam Darnold is, but your philosophy is still you would take Sam Darnold, the quarterback, over those proven players.
If you have conviction on the quarterback, we don't know really, truthfully, what any of these guys are going to be. But if you have a grade on a quarterback that says he can be an upper-tier starter in the NFL, and you have to go with your conviction. You got to trust your evaluation. If that's what you feel, you've got to do it. If you don't have a quarterback, it is hard to have sustained success. So when you've got yourself in position to get one of those upper tier guys, I don't think you pass on it.
We're talking to Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL Network, former NFL scout. The quarterback you have the most concerns about is?
Oh gosh, there's none of these guys that are clean. That's a tough one. I would say Drew Lock is someone who has tremendous upside. He throws it as well as anybody, but he's got some habits he needs to continue to work through.
The word upside makes me nervous, though, Daniel. Upside always makes me nervous.
Absolutely, upside's got a lot of people fired. But when you can drive the ball like he does, he's got a tremendous arm. He's a very good athlete. You watch the Florida game, and he's a top 5 pick. But there's other games where he locks on some targets. He's late with the ball. He's a little bit adventurous. He's got some footwork stuff that needs to be cleaned up. He, to me, he's not Pat Mahomes, but he needs the Pat Mahomes treatment in that get him to a team with a good veteran quarterback. Let him sit. Let him continue to work and develop on the practice field, and eventually, I think you'd have a really nice payoff. I think it would not be in his best interest to go somewhere and get thrown right onto the field.
Where's the drama tonight? Which team?
Well, I mean, I think it starts at 3 because the Jets have been calling everybody and their mother trying to get out of number 3. So that's where I think we could see some action taking place. So whether or not they can get out, if they can't get out, you hear that Greg Williams is lobbying for Ed Oliver. There's other people in the building that love Quinnen Williams. Josh Allen, edge rusher's probably their number one need. So they could go with 3 different players or get out of there. So that's where the drama starts.
You trust Oakland to stay with what they need and not reach, not do anything crazy? Or do you look at Gruden and Mayock and go, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised?
Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly what to expect, but I know what Mike wants to do. He wants to get foundational players. This is kind of it's a culture draft. It's 3 guys. You can't miss on them. Don't swing for the fences. Just put it in the middle of the fairway here. Good, solid players you're not looking to replace, and they can go with you to Vegas and be a part of a winning culture. But this is just, I think you just try and find 3 really reliable, dependable, eliminate the risk in this draft if I'm the Raiders.
Are you a Derek Carrist?
Am I a Derek Carr gets bounced guy? Is that what you're saying?
Are you pro Carr?
Oh, pro Carr. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Look, stacking him up with this quarterback class, yes. I know you got to factor in the money aspect of it. But man, I'd be tempted. Hey, but you've got Antonio Brown now. You've got an opportunity to get a running back in this draft if it's the first round, second round, whatever. Add some more pieces around him. Let's see. He went out and paid a bunch of money to an offensive tackle. You've got him some help. Let's see if he can play in this system and see what he can do. I'd want to get another look at it before I decide to move on.
What did the Giants do tonight?
Everything you hear, my guilty pleasure, Dan, is these pre-draft press conferences because, I'll text the GMs afterwards and go, "That was masterful. You said absolutely nothing. You did not answer one question. Well done." But Gettleman's like the one that's like firing like exactly what he thinks. Last year he said point blank, "I want a gold jacket player. I'm going to take the best player regardless of position." It's the discussion we just had. Yeah. And so all signs pointed to Saquon Barkley. He was the best player of the draft, most people believed. And that's what he did. He didn't take a quarterback. And then this year he's basically doubled down and said, "I'm not going to move a quarterback over somebody else at another position if we have them higher graded." And where they are at 6, I can't see it that they're going to have a quarterback at the top of their board. So it would be very unusual to have an older quarterback on your roster. You could replace in 2 years in a row passing on a quarterback in the top 10. But based on his words, I expect that's what they'll do.
Yeah, but if I love a quarterback, I'm not waiting until 17, Daniel. If I love him at 17, I got to love him at 6 too. And if I don't love him at 6, then I'm not going to take him. What do you think of that philosophy?
Yeah, I will stick with the relationship analogy and say it's a difference between like and love. And if you take him at 6, you want to marry him. If you take him at 17, you're dating him. So I don't know. If you like a guy, I was talking to somebody the other day about Trubisky. And he said, look, even Jacksonville, when they took Bortles, it didn't end up ultimately working out. if you think he can be your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, or if you don't like that word, your dependable starting quarterback for the next decade, there's no such thing as overdrafting him. You can't. So if you want him, don't worry about what the rest of the world thinks. Just take him, and he's going to be your guy. You're going to get, if you take him at 6 and he doesn't work out, you're going to get fired. If you take him at 17 and he doesn't work out, you're also going to get fired. You might as well get the one you want.
The biggest whiff you ever had, the player that you love that didn't work out, was who?
Oh, every year at draft time, it all comes back to me. Aaron Curry. I mean, and it wasn't even just that I gave Aaron Curry a good grade. It's that I can remember being in the draft room and, as a young, ignorant scout, like almost pontificating, like, guys, look, in my 2 or 3 years I've been doing this, there's no chance this guy misses. I mean, there's some good players in this draft, but, this guy, he's going to get a gold jacket and can't miss. No brainer. Just turn in the card. Don't even think about it. Yeah, it didn't go so well.
He had 5 career sacks, Daniel.
Does that, is he eligible for the Hall?
I don't know. We'll check on that. I think he probably needs another 150 more sacks, but other than that, check that out. Yeah. Hey, have fun tonight, and always great to check in with you. Thank you.
You're the best, Dan. Thank you.
Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network analyst, former NFL scout, and NFL Network's live coverage of the 2019 NFL Draft from Nashville starts at 8 Eastern, coming up tonight.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on VR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.